Hi, this is Dr. Nikitow. What I'm going to talk about in this little video is how important posture is for overall health. You know, we don't often equate posture and health. We say, you know, I've got bad posture, and people kind of shuck it off. But posture is very, very important for overall health. And what we want to do is make sure you understand, if you want to be at your optimum health potential, why you need to get the frame in the game, okay, of health. Because oftentimes, you know, we have all sorts of issues going on. We go to the doctor, they don't really understand what's wrong, and you don't have a chiropractor on your healthcare team, so your posture, your spine is being neglected. So let's talk. I want to show you a piece of research, medical research from the Journal of Pain. What they said here about posture is it affects and moderates every physiological function from breathing to hormonal production. Now, who would think that your posture has anything to do with hormonal production? I'm going to put the dots together and connect these so you understand how this works, okay? They said spinal pain, headache, moodiness, blood pressure, pulse, lung capacity are among the functions most easily influenced by posture. So if your posture's off, you can affect your breathing, your oxygenation, a lot of things. They said the most significant influences of posture upon breathing, oxygenation, and sympathetic nerve function. If we look at the sympathetic nervous system are the nerves that come out from our middle back, and they supply all of the organs and glands of our body, okay? We have a parasympathetic center that comes from the base of the skull and the very base of our spine here. But the sympathetic, if our posture is off here and we're kind of crouched down and, you know, squishing organs, it affects how the nerves are firing to organs. Now, this is very important because as a chiropractor, what we look for is to make sure you have proper alignment of the spine so you do not interfere with the nerve. It's not about back pain. We're not back pain doctors, we're nerve doctors. What we look for is if your spine's out of alignment, you get compression of these nerves and you alter that nerve activity, okay, from the brain out to the body. So as the brain is trying to tell all these parts how to work, it can't tell how to work. So all of a sudden those cell structures begin to break down. Okay, so that's very important. The other thing they said about posture here was this, that for many years physiologists have shown that the position of your head on your neck is vital, and if your head and neck is out of alignment, then the rest of the posture goes out of alignment. So that's why it's really important to understand the impact of having forward head posture. Forward head posture is the most significant postural distortion that we see today because of texting, because of injuries like whiplashing, things like that. Computers, people are constantly overloading the nerve circuitry in the front. So the nerves in the back shut down. As that happens, it begins to compress on the disc joints and nerves in the neck area, and that can lead to headaches. It can lead to a lot of problems with depression, anxiety, all sorts of things, because the brain is now not telling the body how to function or work, okay? The other thing they said here, according to Freeman, one of the researchers, your shifts of centers of gravity or postural adjustments of aging, meaning that as you age, you start to accordion down like that, can cause intestinal diverticula, like diverticulitis, hemorrhoids, varicose veins in the legs, osteoporosis because the hormones get off, hip deformities, and overall poor health, and even a shortened lifespan. The reason posture can shorten your lifespan is because as your posture becomes like this, not only are you blocking nerves, but you can't have the ribs moving up and down to assist with breathing, which is very important. So they said in summary, the focal stress of spinal misalignment leads to muscle tension, overactive nerves, altered circulation, and a wide variety of organ illnesses that are usually associated with stress. So basically, when we look at this thing, we're looking at when your spine is out of alignment, what happened, your posture's off, that means your spine is off, okay? So if we were to look at this piece of research here, okay, these two researchers rather, we look at Roger Sperry, who's a Nobel Prize laureate, Hans Selye, who's coined the father of stress because he talked about how stress works in our body, and he's an MD, a PhD, and a Doctor of Science, as well as a Nobel Prize laureate. They said that if your posture is off, you have subluxation. Now, subluxation is where bones are out of place in the spine compressing on the nerve. And what will happen is that'll alter function. Okay, so again, it's not about pain, it's about function. So if your brain can't tell your body how to function in whatever area, the stomach, the intestines, all those parts, the hormones that are being produced, your body's not going to be at its optimum health potential. So they said if your posture is off, that means you have misalignment of your vertebrae or subluxation, and if you have that, you have nerve interference, and if you have nerve interference, your health potential is lower. And Sperry said that 90% of your energy output of your brain is used in relating your physical body to its gravitational field. And the more mechanically screwed up you are, the less energy is available for healing, metabolism, and thought. And these guys wrote a book called The Healing Brain from Stanford, and Dr. Sobel and Ornstein, and they said that your brain's primary function is to build cells and tissues, so it keeps you healthy, okay? So it's very important our posture's at its optimum. And Dr. Hans Selye said that the beginning of the disease processes start with postural distortions. So posture is extremely important, because when we look that we see our deviation, our posture, that means that our spine is going out of alignment, okay? So how do you check your posture to know if what you have regarding a postural problem is relating to a physical ailment, okay? Let's show you. When I check a patient, you could do this in the mirror. What you want to do is you want to close your eyes first, and then you want to distort your posture, because you're wanting to see how your nerve receptors are talking to your muscles, because after all, the muscles hold the bone. So you do something like this, you shake around, step in place, and then find a place that feels normal and comfortable for you. Now, let's say my posture was like this and I think I'm standing straight. Well, the next thing you want to do is you want to take your finger and put it in this little notch, okay, where your collarbones meet. It's called the suprasternal notch. This notch should line up with your chin. So if your head is shifted over, your shoulders high, your ears tilted or something like that, that's postural distortion. That means you're going to have problems in your neck, you could have problems with headaches, you can have problems with sinus problems, foggy thinking, ADHD, depression, a whole mess of different things, because the nerves are getting blocked to those areas that control those. The next thing is you look where your belly button is controlled in correspondence to this notch. Now you'll notice mine is going way over to the left over here, which means the majority of my weight is being carried on the joints of my spine, not in the center part of the spine that should carry the weight. So if we look at the spine here, this is where the weight should be carried. If the spine is shifted, then you're carrying the weight on the joint, which means you're going to have a lot of problems. The next thing I want you to check is rotation. So you take your hands like this, put your little fingers right up against your inguinal notches, where kind of like where your underpants line would be, like this, okay, if you're wearing briefs. And then what you do is take a look down at your fingers, and your index fingers should line up if you were to put a straight edge here. If your index fingers are like this or like this, that means you have a rotated hip. Now, a lot of chiropractors don't use this three-dimensional coordinate system, so they miss the translation and they miss the rotation. If you have a translation where your belly button's off and a rotation together, you might as well sign up for a surgery for your disc, because you're going to blow the disc out of your back, and or you're going to end up with a hip replacement at some point in time. So again, it's really, really important that you know how to check your posture. See where your belt line is. See where your shoulders are, okay, if one is higher than the other. See where your ears are. And again, check that notch and see if your posture is going back and forth. Now, from the side, what you should see is that you should see the ear hole here lining up through the shoulder. So if we take a look at this slide here, we'll see that this ear hole is not lining up with the center of the shoulder. Okay, that means that person would have forward head posture. Okay, so that can throw everything out of alignment. Okay, so if we look at this slide right here, we'll see the center point of the shoulder should line up with the center point of the ear. You'll see that this guy's head is far forward. Also, the center part of the shoulder should line up with the hip, and then also the outside ankle. So we see that he's falling kind of forward and he's kind of shifted backward here, which is not a good thing, okay? So again, from the side, you want to look for that forward head posture, because forward head posture has been shown to cause a numerous amount of problems, from headaches, foggy thinking, numbness, tingling in the arms, different things like that. And if you're having any of these kind of problems, make sure you make an appointment to come in and get checked. And if you're a patient and you're watching this and you have friends that have these type of issues, listen, we've helped a lot of people with these kind of problems, and it's very, very important you check your posture and your spine as a part of your health, because what we're after here is to make sure that the brain can send signals and messages to parts of the body, because your brain controls everything. If your posture's off, your spine's off, and your body's chance of not being at its optimum health potential are a lot greater. So pass the word on. If you know anybody that's got these types of issues, it's worth a checkup, and let us know if you're a current patient. Give them a referral over to our office, and we'll do our best to check them out.